Do you think you can to your music? Because I think if you to you guys, you got to be smiling, and the girls got to be into your music too.
Hey, something's burning, something's burning, something's burning.
The Permission to Party World Tour kicks off September 18th in Rockford, Illinois, the 19th in Milwaukee, the 20th in St. Paul, Minnesota, the 21st in Duluth, Minnesota, followed by Eugene, Oregon, September 28th. Avoid Scalpers and go to BertBertBert.com to get your lowest ticket price. Yeah, hey, Google Rogan's cousin. I think, is it My Chemical Romance? He's like, but he's has a TV show called Umbrella Academy. It's really a great show. But what's cool is he finds
his cousin.
His cousin.
Who's in My Chemical Romance has a TV show?
He's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
I've met him.
Yeah,
years ago.
He's Rogan's cousin. I don't think they hang or anything. But he's really fascinated by, like, he puts in old music into his TV show. And so in a weird way, when you watch his TV show, you discover music you never would have heard, which I think is the coolest shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the beauty of the way you two started, like, because you guys were both into different kind of music, like blues music and like old school, like, I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, like I was into more kind of indie rock and alternative stuff, I guess, and Dan was more into like blues. But yeah, there was like one, we grew up kind of in the same neighborhood, like 5 or 6 houses away from each other. And then we didn't really hang out, but our brothers did. And then they kind of encouraged us to get together and jam when we were in high school. And that's when we discovered that like there was this little kind of, thing where like Dan was into this stuff, I was into this stuff, but there's like 1 or 2 artists were like.
Just a couple little crossovers.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. And
this R.L. Burnside record and Captain Beefheart.
Yeah.
Do you know Captain Beefheart?
No, I don't.
You got to get into Captain. We got to send you that.
See, that's what I'm first of all, it's crazy. What's so crazy about you guys is your music is very rich and complex and like and intense. And then today I got an acoustic guitar and I was like, C, F, or G, F, C? I was like, how many times have I played that in my life? But never have I been like, oh, I could make it's like, that's the beauty. But that's the same thing with comedy. Is like, it's right there. The whole time it was right there.
That's right.
And then when you see someone do it, you're like, I saw that. I knew that.
Well, it's the same with cooking, honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
You can go, how many different types of cheeseburgers can you have? And like, it's funny how just a slight difference makes something, stand out.
Yeah, and then it's also crazy how sometimes then all of a sudden you get too much of something because it's hot, and then you're like, enough of the smash burgers. Like let's.
That's true.
So wait, did you guys ever play basketball against LeBron?
No, I've never met LeBron, but we know his manager Maverick.
Oh yeah.
But we used to see LeBron when he was still in high school. When he was a senior, I was living in this house with some friends. It's where we made our first couple records, and it was right around the corner from his high school. And we would see him drive into school in this bright yellow Hummer.
Really?
Yeah, that he got because I think Nike, Nike hired his mom, I think, to be like a consultant, just as a way to funnel him some money. So he was driving this brand new Hummer.
When they talk about this is a horrible angle to take on this interview, but when you hear about what's happening with colleges and how they're making money for their students and they're bringing in boosters to simply, thank you, Stacey. Simply, here, let me tell you what we're making real quick. No. I'm taking chicken skins, I'm gonna fry them up so they're like chips, and then I'm making shrimp and grits.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I figured a little blues, give you a little blues rendition of food, But now what they're doing is they're bringing in boosters to just go in and raise money for these NILs and basically just funnel money into these kids and go, here's $1 million to play for Mississippi State. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. How great is Ohio? Let's talk about Ohio. I say it's the best state in the union.
Why do you say that?
I love to have to fight this against people, and I did it in Hawaii the other day. Number one, very socially liberal, meaning everyone feels welcome there.
Yeah.
It's like you go to Columbus, their gay pride parade is huge. Right. Anywhere in Ohio, you got a little bit of a hippie vibe. People are raising alpacas. It's like, it's kind of, Ohio's got like a little bit like, I'm going to be a beekeeper, The topography is gorgeous. Hills, great. I mean, garage beer. Have you had a garage beer yet?
No.
It's the Kelsey brothers who grew up in Ohio.
Okay, yeah.
The Kelsey brothers, you sit in a garage in Ohio and you watch a thunderstorm roll in with a beer, and maybe it's one of the best feelings in the world. You guys get weather, and it's like, but it's centrally located, and so you have that Midwest vibe.
Yeah.
And you have, for an artist, you have, 5 cities you can perform in the same state?
That's right. It was really easy for us when we started touring to get around. We would hit Chicago, and we would hit all these cities pretty easily. Actually, it was nice.
Yeah, you guys are in Akron. Cleveland's right there.
We would get gigs in New York City and just drive there and then drive home after the gig.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, our first gig in New York was, we opened for a ska band on a Monday night in Brooklyn, and played to about 40 people. Drove 8 hours there and 8 hours back.
I heard someone one time say, they were talking about rock and roll's dead. Someone goes, bullshit, they can't kill ska.
Yeah.
If ska's still around, rock and roll's gonna be around forever. I heard you guys on a podcast once talk about Mississippi hip hop, or Memphis hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my hip hop I listened to.
Really?
Orange Mound, Tennessee. Orange Mound is like where MJG and 8 Ball, Swab House, all of them is my favorite hip hop. But 3 6 Mafia, all of that was out of there. What do you think is different in hip hop, in Southern hip hop versus what you hear in New York?
I mean, Memphis has always been so amazing at coming up with different styles of music, but that stuff in the late 80s, early 90s, the cassette tape rap was just like special. It was Atlanta, like pre-Migos. It was that whole thing. It invented that whole kind of flow. Lord Infamous doing that triplet flow. It was just like changed everything.
But I also think the New York hip hop that we like is just sampling Memphis soul.
It's funny. It does sample a lot of Memphis.
Let's say that again.
Just saying, like, even the New York hip hop we like is just sampling Memphis records from the 70s and 60s.
We love New York hip hop, but there's something cool just about the kind of like crunchy sound too, like that cassette tape culture. How
the Memphis stuff.
Yeah, that Memphis stuff gives it like a lo-fi quality. I really love too.
Spooky.
We just got to play a show with Tommy Wright III. It was like so cool.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's the king.
There was that. It was like almost like a bell that you'd hear in that hip hop. It was almost like someone was coming up behind you bell, like a. It's funny because I grew up in the South, and our hip hop was meant to be listened to in cars.
Yeah.
And then I moved to New York, and I was like, oh, this hip hop's meant to be listened to in headsets.
Yeah.
I was like, this is much more vocal, and this is all. It's all right here.
Yeah. There's a lot of sub bass in the Memphis stuff.
How's your music supposed to be listened to? Do you ever think about that when you write it?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
I know how I like to listen to music, but
How do you like listening to music?
probably a little louder than most people.
yeah.
But my dad used to listen to music really loud in the car when I was a kid. He used to freak my friends out.
Really?
He'd play rock and roll really loud, and like you could tell kids who weren't around music at all, you know what I mean? They would be like, what is going on in here?
My dad listened to talk radio my entire life. My entire life, it was 1010 Wins. It was anything, sports radio, talk radio. There was a guy named, I think it was Ted Hendry, who would do, was it Ted Hendry who would do the characters? Phil Henry. Do you remember him?
His name sounds familiar.
Don't know him.
He would take the calls, and then he would play the character. So, hey, we got a call on line 1. I'd be like, hey, what's up, Phil? I'm listening to the show. It's mind-blowing how great it was. But,
My dad used to listen to Stern in the morning.
no.
Oh yeah, until my mom woke up. And then he would have to turn to NPR.
Really?
Oh yeah, every morning.
Wait, how old's your dad? You guys were born in like 80, right?
79, 80.
Yeah.
So wait, how old's your dad?
He just passed away not too long ago, 76, but
76, good
yeah.
run.
Yeah, he had a good run.
Yes, all right. I mean, you can't ask for more. I mean, 8, you don't want to get to the point where you're falling nonstop. Like that's the, it's my dad.
No, yeah, you don't want that. That sucks.
I always say this. How did your dad pass?
He at my house, we had family all around him. It was really nice.
Do you think that's the way to go?
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
But as a rock star, don't you kind of want to go out in a plane?
In a blaze of glory.
Yeah. Isn't there like part of you that goes, it's kind of like
getting a blowjob while skydiving?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be pretty.
Something like that. Nah, I don't know. It might be nice to be surrounded by your family.
It might be nice to be surrounded by family. I don't know. I don't know if I want my kids there.
Like in a Russian prison.
Yeah, like fighting your way out of a gulag.
Yeah.
No, I like this. I like where we're going with this.
You want to die like a man. That's what you're saying.
I want to die like a man. I want to fight a bear. Like, part of me feels like if I see a bear charge, I go, I knew this was going to happen.
You know what, man? Like 10 minutes into that death, you'd be regretting that one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the guy get attacked by a tiger?
No.
I saw the woman get out of her car to yell at her husband, and then the tiger. Have you seen that?
No.
It's really.
I saw the coolest thing. If someone can find this, I saw the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Guy owes. I'm guessing this is Chicago. Young black kid outside a store owes money to two black kids inside the store, and they're like, "We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you." And he like, they come after him, and he runs away. Have you seen this? And he climbs up the scaffolding of the subway like Spider-Man and gets away from them. Have you seen this? No. Someone find this. It is like a guy thinks he's Spider-Man. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. No, the guy gets attacked by a tiger. He's like rich Indian guy, and he's like walking a tiger. They're like filming it for Instagram, and he's like, "This is great. This is great." And then all of a sudden the tiger's like, "I think I'm done with this." And it is aggressive to say the least. What do you guys eat on the road?
Well, it can be difficult because we don't usually eat before a show, so then we have to eat after the show. And most of the place, like if you're like in Bend, Oregon at 11 o'clock at night,
Yes.
the options are slim. But Dan's always looking for pho.
Yeah, always looking for Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah?
Makes me feel good when I'm on tour.
I love pho.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I had pho.
Yeah.
My sister was like, "You want to have pho?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Yeah, you got to doctor it up." So we turned this into the most American pho. Like, just it's almost like ketchup and mayonnaise. But, yeah, pho's pretty great. I'm pretty strict on the road. Like, I am ribeyes, cream spinach every single night.
Really?
Ribeye and cream spinach. Do you guys booze on the road?
After shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not before.
You guys seem like pretty level-headed rock stars.
You know, we spent the first like 8 years essentially of touring, like not making enough money for a bus.
Yeah.
So we'd have to we play our show and then have to.
Wait, how is that even possible?
I mean, we might have had enough money for a bus at some point, but no one that was working with us told us that it would be better for us to have a bus.
Yeah.
We had to kind of figure that one out. But yeah, I mean, but for a while we did not have enough money for a bus, so we would just play the show, then load up the van, and then drive to the.
All yourself?
Yeah. To the cheapest hotel we could find outside of town.
Really?
Yeah, then we'd have to wake up at 7 a.m. and drive to the next show.
Is there any part of you that misses that a little bit?
No.
It's funny. You know what I miss? Sundays. I mean, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go back there ever. As a matter of fact, I won't.
Yeah.
I won't. You'll never see me doing this ever again in my life. Clubs on a Sunday, and I stopped doing Sundays altogether at a certain point. But on Sundays,
Yeah.
turn your TV on, turn your iPad on, turn your computer on. You got all the football going. You got your fantasy football, and then you. In a Holiday Inn Express or wherever, you wash your clothes, you bring them in, you fold them, and you pack your bag for the next week. Like, you pack your bag so that when you go home on Monday, it stays right by your door, you don't touch it, and it's ready to go. I miss that emptying out my bag, taking my backpack, dumping it upside down.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I traded that for was to have my entire life on one bus. I'll never go back.
Yeah. It makes a big difference.
Oh, hell yeah. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. Looking for something beyond the usual pill? Meet Rougiette Ready, Other companies rely on similar ingredients to support blood flow, but Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to help amplify arousal in the brain and increase blood flow. If the usual pills still aren't doing the trick, Rougiette Ready could be the answer. Its 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue to absorb fast, so you'll be ready in just 15 minutes on average, not hours. And effects can last up to 36 hours. That means you can stay confident, present, and in control when the moment rises. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if you're prescribed, your treatment ships quickly to your door. Connect with a provider at rougiette.com/burning to see if Rougiette Ready prescription is right for you. And you can use our code BURNING to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/burning and use promo code BURNING to get 15% off. Head to rougiette.com/burning and use code BURNING to get 15% off today. Use the code to support the show. And Rougiette, they'll know that we sent you that way. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety effectiveness or manufacturing review. Please visit Rougiette website for full safety information.
Just being able to get consistent sleep, show up.
Some people can't sleep on the bus.
What?
I love it.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
Saying I sleep great on a bus.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Better on a bus than I do at home.
I know, me too.
once we finally
Get rocked to sleep.
got the bus, sleeping and then waking up in the city and having like time to do shit was a big game changer.
Did you stay at the Greek last night in your bus?
No, we stayed at the Chateau.
Oh, so you stayed in a hotel last night?
Yeah.
Wait, is that Chateau is y'all's place?
Yeah. We've been hanging out there since we could start affording it, about 2011.
Can you explain to someone who doesn't know what the Chateau Marmont is? Can you explain it to them?
Well, it's a
Sell it to them. Sell it to them like you work there.
Well, the thing is the rooms are pretty shitty, but they're exactly like I had this apartment in Akron that was built around the same time, like late 20s, and I paid $400 a month for this apartment, and I think the rooms there, which are identical, are like $650 a night, but it's it's just the kind of place where you can be kind of loud till like 4 a.m. if you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got these great villas.
Yeah, they've got the bungalows. We were
That's it.
Yeah, we were into those for a while, but now we're just.
Yeah, the bungalow number 3 where Belushi died.
I walked to it. I was at a party at one of the bungalows and someone's like, "You want to see where Belushi died?" It's like, he's kind of my guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love that guy. So I was like, yeah, I do. So we walked up, saw it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. So I think Robert De Niro walked in and was like, never mind, he's sleeping, I'm out.
Yeah, we were staying up there for a while, but now we stay in a hotel. And I actually, it's funny. It's like, it's hard to find a hotel where you can kind of just be a dipshit, kind of kick back, smoke weed. No one's yelling at you. You'd think you could find that like in every city, but really there's like just like 2 or 3 in LA. There's not many across the country.
Do you think you're at that place in life where you go into a venue and you can just light a joint and they won't say anything? Mm-hmm. Because I see guys do that and I go, and I still am not there. Like I get nervous lighting a joint because I'm like an old school rule follower.
I'm a rule follower too. I got yelled at last night for smoking a cig on the patio, and I just put it out and then told our security guy to maybe have a word with somebody. And then I was allowed to smoke a minute later.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
What kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
American Spirits.
How much do you smoke?
Pack and a half a day.
Do you want one right now?
No, I'm good.
You can have one.
I'm cool.
I always like that, like, I kind of like that old school. I saw the sexiest thing in the world. I'm driving from Palm Springs to LA. There's a woman in an old school Cadillac. She might be like 76 years old. A 100 in her mouth, windows up, and she's just lighting it. And I went, yeah, that's old school. I haven't seen that shit in forever. What's that? Oh, you pull out a joint. There we go. No, I'll take a drink then. I thought we were sober. I didn't know. I was like, Jesus. I have great weed too. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think of my weed. Wait, Pete, where's my weed? Will you grab me that jar right there? Yeah.
Dude.
Tell me what you think of my weed. I grew this.
You grew it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good, huh? Hey, take some.
Looks pretty dank, brother.
Yeah, take some, please. We have 10 pounds of it.
Wow.
Do you guys like mushrooms?
What?
We have so much drugs here. We're trying to get rid of it.
Did you grow mushrooms also?
No. My buddy's trying to get me invested in his mushroom company. I can't tell if they're any good.
Why does it say Bert's homegrown and then it says Leanne too? What's that all about?
Women, dude. Let me tell you something. Can you just write? Did you ever think about gold on the ceiling, change it to come on the ceiling? Because that's how I sing it.
What about brains on the ceiling?
Brains on the ceiling. Can I ask you what is it like when you come out like the first time I listened to you guys? I remember I was driving. It was got to be 2000. I was jumping out of a plane the next day for a trip flip. It was probably 2011. And I called my dad to get advice about life and stuff. My dad sucked. He was so bad. And I was listening to you guys and I was like, wow, this is a vibe. This is a crazy vibe. What's it like to create a vibe and then have to come out with your next album and go, well, I don't want to just be that vibe. 'Cause I feel like in comedy, we struggle with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, there's we talk about this a lot. There's like pros and cons to both. It's like a band like AC/DC has certainly benefited from just staying true to the sound that they created on the first record. You know what I'm saying?
And you guys have done, like, your new album is awesome. I've only listened to 3 tracks, but is awesome and not anything like 2010, like El Camino.
And then there are other bands who change sounds, and so there's pros and cons to doing it both ways, but.
Yeah, our music.
We're just so interested in so many different types of music. It's too hard for us to really just do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone wants to hear it. It's like the Beastie Boys.
Some people think they do, but I don't think they. No.
I would say
The Beastie Boys. Yeah, every record's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think our music just reflects like whatever we're kind of into at the time, obviously. So yeah, I think when we went in the studio to make El Camino, I think. It's just the way things kind of happened to be going at that exact moment where we were able to make that record. But I don't think if we went in the studio 6 months later, I don't think we would have made the same.
No, it'd be a different record.
Is there something to not knowing anything about making a record that is beneficial?
Well, I mean, certainly when we started, we didn't know what the we were doing at all, and we not only were we.
That's the beauty of your story is like you really didn't. If I'm not mistaken, and I've listened to everything you guys have done, including your mom's house, and no one listens to that show. The crazy thing is you guys were supposed to work with someone else that day and they bailed. Well, and you guys were like, let's just cut a demo.
I was supposed to record like a bar band Dan had so he could get some more gigs. 'Cause he was playing like 4 or 5 nights a week around Akron, Kent.
Yeah, playing all the college bars and shit.
And I had this little like recorder, and I ran into Dan at the record store, and I was like, told him because we used to record on my little cassette 4-track. I told him I got this new little thing to record on, and he was interested. So I said you should come over, and we set up a time for his band to come over, and then we sat there on my front porch waiting for the drummer and bass player for his band to show up, and they never showed up. So then Dan was like, let's just go down there and record, and you play the drums, which I barely could do.
Yeah.
But we recorded these songs and then I f***ed them up a little bit and gave Dan a CDR. They sounded pretty cool.
When he says he f***ed them up, he means he mixed them.
Yeah.
And gave them a sound.
Really? So wait, how much?
F***ed them up in a good way.
So how much does one of your songs sound like when you're recording to what I hear? Is there a lot of like adjusting in post?
Well, back then it was like, it was like, I used to have this 4-track cassette thing where you could just plug a mic in and turn it up, and then the cassette tape would like, distort enough to give it some cool saturation. And then once I got like a digital recorder, that went away. So it was like very clean and weird sounding. So I had to figure out how to make it sound like a cassette tape again.
Really?
Yeah. And then now when we record, we've got all the gear dialed in. So it's like, the minute it kind of gets recorded, it pretty much sounds the way it does when it's mixed.
I keep wondering if there's a guy that lived like 4 houses down from me that we could have done something together. You know, like I feel like I should go back and be like, you know, a lot of the dudes. Oh my God, these are going to be good.
Well, a guy 4 houses down the other direction from us went to prison for writing illegal prescriptions. So we could have also got into that business.
Yeah.
A guy around the block from me went to prison for killing chicks on the causeway. Yeah. We always knew that was going to happen.
Whoa.
He was weird. First guy to show me porn.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old?
They were of age. I mean, no, I'm kidding. No, he was, God, he must have been 8.
No, how old were you when you got shown porn?
10.
Oh, okay. He was younger than you and he showed you porn?
He was younger than me.
We used to find porn in the woods.
Yeah, that's where he kept it.
I'm like, what the is all this porn doing in the woods, man?
I know.
By the tracks.
I think hunting was boring back then. You didn't have podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a hunter and you're sitting out there, why not just jack off in the woods? How many hunters do you think were literally mid-stroke and they're like, fuck, it's a deer. Do I come or do I shoot it? I'll do both.
It's like a certain type of salt lick you can create out there.
I've never killed anything. Have you ever killed anything?
I used to have a BB gun when I was a kid, and I killed like a bird once. Felt horrible. Yeah.
Stephen St. John, my neighborhood. Yeah. By the way, the only thing, we both fell in love with the same chick. That's the closest we got to forming a band. Stephen St. John.
Stephen St. John?
Was his name. His parents were Canadian. The first Canadians I ever met were they're like, okay, okie dokie.
Who's the guy from Spinal Tap? What's his name?
David St. Hubbins.
David St. Hubbins. Okay. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No. He had a BB gun and I killed a frog.
A frog?
A frog, and I was like, I'll just kill a frog. And as I shot it, I watched it in pain and I started crying and had the exact opposite reaction for my group of friends.
Yeah.
They're like, are you crying? And I was like, no. I mean, I cried at a magic trick yesterday.
What?
I did. I couldn't help it. I don't know, man. It was a really good magic trick. I wish. Do you think you can f*** to your music? Because I think if you f*** to you guys, you got to be smiling, and the girls got to be into your music too. Because like today we were listening to. I mean, I will tell you, on your essentials on iTunes, every song is a banger. Every song. I hate to say this, but I don't know this of artists, but you go to the essentials and just get the essentials, and it's every song you love from that artist. And then I go to the deep dive. I go to inspired by or inspired from, and you're like, do you remember the Kills? Shout if you want to get off the ride. Sour Cherry. I haven't heard that in forever.
Oh yeah, we used to tour with them a bunch.
No.
Oh yeah.
For real?
Jamie and Allison.
Okay. Which Gallagher did you meet? The good one or the brother?
Both.
You met both?
We've hung with both.
We recorded some songs with Noel, but then we played a concert with Liam, and we hung out with both of them.
Are they everything you want them to be?
I mean, we hung out with both of them, and then they got back together, so I don't know.
We were doing a little bit of we were like...
Dude, you know what? I knew a guy who started a podcast, and I did it, and now he's the biggest podcast in the world. Coincidence? You're welcome, Rogan.
They're both hilarious. Liam and...
They're both funny.
Really funny.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's funny is you guys sent Rogan not the recent one, No Rain, No Flowers, which I keep calling No Water, No Flowers. But you're
Ohio
the
players.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The day I was with him. He was like, do you want to hear the Black Keys? And I was like, yeah. And he put it in, and I was like, oh, shit. And then that whole night at the green room, he's blaring it. And everyone, dude, I wish you got to see this. Everyone was like, what the is this? Rogan's just like, look, he is a regular person. Yeah. You know, that when he saw Axl Rose at a bar, he walked up and was like, hi, I'm Joe Rogan. Okay, he's a regular person. You may think he's this god. He's just Joe, right?
Yeah.
He was like, Black Keys, not even out yet. They sent it to me. And they're like, what? And it's like, yeah. This isn't even out yet. It's not even coming out for a month. They sent it to me today. You like it? It's pretty good, huh? And we were all just like, he's such a doofus. But it's kind of cool. I was hoping I'd get the full new one, whatever. It's not a big deal.
All right, we'll hook you up.
We'll send it to you.
No, I'll wait and I'll buy it. How much money do you make on iTunes based on, well, you always were iTunes, right?
Our stuff's always on iTunes. We kept stuff off Spotify for a while, other than the singles. For years.
Because the tours where you make your money.
I mean, you make money off of streaming and stuff, but yeah, in like comparison, like a record contract for a whole album for us is equivalent to like us playing basically 2 or 3 shows.
Really? That's crazy.
I know.
That's insane. I know. Dude, can I tell you, it's...
But just so you know, the promoter makes off those 2 or 3 shows more than we do. So there's even more money that's just not coming to us. So.
Music got in the ass, and comedy got in the ass. Yeah. Like, we used to get in the ass really bad. For a special, you made $10,000.
Wow.
You didn't get the door of the people that came in. The production company got it.
Yeah.
So all the people that bought tickets, you didn't get that, and you didn't get any royalties, and you didn't own your special. And then Ted Sarandos came out and was like, that's up. How about we pay you legit money, and you own it, and we'll just license it from you.
Right.
And then touring was like, hey, do you want to be your own promoter? And you're like, yeah, I could do that. It's like, cool, you want your beer sales? You're like, yeah, why didn't this happen before? And they're like, well, things have changed. I mean, do I go cream this, and then shrimp? Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you just have to, maybe you should promote our tour.
Can I tell you, I want to sell ad sales on your, like, I don't know why there's so much to do with where you guys are and what you guys are doing that I'm like, you guys are moving legit tickets for what, 15 years? 15 years. You guys have been in front of so many crazy people, and I just think music has been, I think music was a hot chick getting old. You ever seen a gorgeous woman get old, and then you see her at a bar, and she tries to get the bartender's attention, and the bartender just looks right past her, and then she's like, well, hold on, you didn't see the face. And then it happens again, and it's like watching Superman get locked out of his house. You're just like, you're like, this sucks. And that's what happened in the music industry. They were like, we got this on lock. Dude, we got Porsches, we got lunch dates, we get to go cool concerts, we all got hair plugs, let's rock. And then Napster came in and was like, hey, that's not how this is gonna work. And then all of a sudden, I don't think music revamped itself in a weird way. The music stayed, like you guys are the constant, but in a weird way, I just go like, where's the pivot?
Well, if you're a massive artist like Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift, maybe one of like 40 artists.
There's not 40 of those.
Or whatever it is. You're getting a much different deal than everybody else gets. And the problem is that the people at the top don't rock the boat enough to change the game for the people in the middle or at the bottom. So like, you know, like you got to sign all these NDAs, but you know, like promoters, there's all these secret fees on tickets and stuff. Those get shared straight up in a major way with those people at the top. They're making way bigger percentage. They're getting percentage of the parking and the beer and all. We're not getting any of that shit.
How come?
Because we don't have the leverage. And so they're using the same promoters that we're using, but it's like, what if we don't want to? What are we gonna do? Every single venue is locked into like a Ticketmaster deal, and you have to like
the ticket price. Don't even get me started on.
I know, and like we played a concert the other day, and it was like the average ticket price was $85. We were headlining the show. Average ticket price was $85, not including the service fees, which are probably another $30. So you're like $115 on this ticket. What we walked with was $38 a ticket. And we're in the middle of nowhere. We're like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This isn't like LA. So we're walking with 35% of the door.
That's criminal. That's criminal.
No, I mean, I got to the point where it was like, you know, we were talking to someone who wanted us to go to Australia, and it was like, well, you're not going to make any money. And I was like, wait a second, bro.
Yeah.
Let's emphasize this. Dan and I aren't going to make any money. You're going to make money. Every single other person is going to make money. And I was like, I have a hard time with that. I can't wrap my head around it when I know that there's millions of dollars coming in, and the expenses, we're the last ones to get paid. You know, it's our band, it's our business. So we go play a concert, clearly you got to pay whoever's working for you, and the trucks and the buses and the PA and the lighting and all the shit, and the management and the agent and promoter takes their shit. So the very last money that comes in is our money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do that with us in Europe.
So keep in mind, like this show where we're walking with $38 a ticket, we have to take that money and pay everybody.
You got to pay everyone.
Everybody.
You need buses and gear and all that shit.
And so the promoter's walking and with, you know, $80, $75 a ticket, whatever it is, $65 a ticket. Yeah. And what do they have to pay for? Like, we're bringing in the PA, we're bringing in all the shit. It's like, up, man. That's why you need to just start a rock and roll promotion company.
Buddy, I would love to pivot out of my career and focus on someone else's.
Dude, you get some mailbox money. You can sit here and just.
No, I would just go in to go see cool shows. Here's the thing here's my frustration is the fans think it's you.
It's not.
The fans go, dude, $86 for a ticket? How rich do these rock stars need to get? And you're going, hold on, that's not me. They do this thing now where they do upfront fees. So I don't know if you've gone to Ticketmaster to buy a show, but all the fees go up front onto that ticket. So what you get is that person going through and getting the ticket, getting this, and then the whole fee comes up front, and they think there's more going to be paid in taxes and promoter fees, and so they get scared off from the ticket. And I go, no, and by the way, also, these third-party vendors have everything where it's like the second you put tickets on sale, they buy it all, then they jack it up, and you're like, I called my buddy the other day, I go, yo, $1,300 for a ticket for you? And he was like, that's not me.
Yeah. Dude, our first arena tour, we were, you know, we weren't sure how it was going to do. So we were like, let's make sure we keep the upper bowl priced fair. Like, so I think the upper bowl was priced at like $40 a ticket.
Very fair.
Dude, but every show, basically, especially like Madison Square Garden, 2 nights sold out in 15 minutes because Scalpers came in, bought all the upper bowl shit, and instantly resold it for $65 a ticket. So Scalpers made more money off our first arena tour than we did.
I love that you're talking like this because I have this issue too. I just put tickets on sale for my Permission to Party tour, and the first thing that goes is those upper bowl because people are like, first of all, you get people who go, I want a fair price ticket. I'm going to be looking at the screen anyway. I just want to be there. It's an event. And then the other thing that goes are the really expensive tickets. Those middle ground tickets sit for me forever until week of, 2 weeks of. But those scalpers grab all that shit, and you're just like, ugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just went through this last year with a tour that we were told to cancel the tour because there was going to be another tour that was going to be like able to sell better. But essentially what happened to us is that we were given a tour that was booked by people when we gave ourselves 6 months to sell the tickets. And honestly, there was just like very little promotion on anything. Like I had received one email about the tour even happening. And I was like, and the ticket prices I was seeing were like higher than what we had agreed to. And it was a complete mess. And I think, you know, we got hosed essentially. And it caused us to go back and rethink the entire way that we were going to tour and what venues we should be going into and how it's supposed to work. And it was like still, even after tweaking everything and all the shit, it's like every show on this tour has been sold out. And like we played a show in Bend, Oregon, sold 7,000 tickets in Bend, Oregon. And the promoter's like, you could have done 2 nights. So it's like, how are we able to do 14,000 tickets in Bend, Oregon?
Did I see pictures of that show? It was beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And Bend, Oregon, for people that don't know, is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's on the way to...
There's a river that runs right around the venue.
It's gorgeous. Oh, wait, is that even that venue?
People were just inner tubing all day. It was really cool.
But yeah, it's just fascinating. It's like, you know, it's like, because the show was promoted well, right? So maybe it had this whole tour that was like not promoted very well. And I think fans have been kind of acclimated to that. They've been kind of trained to know, like, whatever this initial onset, unless you're a Taylor Swift concert or something, most people are just like, if you wait till 2 weeks before the show, you're going to get a much better deal on the ticket.
Yeah.
Because it's all secondhand people.
I hate saying that because I know that for an artist, it feels better to be sold out going into a venue. The truth is, 2 weeks out, and I've noticed this on my tours, it's when everything cleans up. That's when everyone's like, I'm going to wait. Yeah. And it wasn't always that way. And the thing that I love that you're saying this, so I feel like this, and you can't be vocal as an artist about it, but they think it's you. They think the two of you are just going like, how do we these people over. You know, and that's not it in the slightest. You two are going, yo, if you say I can get $25 per ticket and charge the fans less, let's do that. You're saying right now it's 86 and I pull 36 out of that. I would say the same thing. I'd go, give me less and make the fans play less, 100%. But don't have those, and I say that right now, my agent and everyone's going like,
Same. I know, because we look like pieces of, but dude, we just had a meeting with someone who was like, I think in the spring you should do a theater tour. And it was like, okay, what's that all about? And like, you know, it'd be cool. The fans will want to see you like in a smaller venue. It's like, yeah, that would be great. It would be great. And they're like, but you know, you won't make any money. And once again, it's like, but dude, every single thing in our business, we already don't make money, really. It's like, you make a record, it's streaming, you're getting peanuts, and there's like, now we'll go on tour. The one thing where we actually make money to support ourselves is that you want us to go do this. And you know what's going to happen. You're going to do something that you think is cool with a reasonable ticket, and then it's all going to get bought up and resold on the secondary market. Someone's going to make a ton of money, not us. And we're going to look like greedy pieces of shit anyway. It's not going to be necessarily.
And we're going to look like greedy pieces of shit anyway.
Yeah.
Show's going to be awesome, though.
Show's going to be great.
Show will be amazing.
I would have loved to pull just a titch bigger than this.
We've been doing these record hangs lately, you know, where it's like we've been doing these DJ nights.
You're doing this Thursday night. My week is, but I'm going to try to make that because I wanted to make last night so bad, but I was sick. I got such bad COVID. Anyway, joking. But those record hangs sound awesome. So tell me about the record hangs.
Well, they started because Dan was looking, you know, after shows on tour, it could be pretty boring. So Dan started bringing his 45s on tour, and we'd try to find a place to spin records. And then eventually we both just started doing it together and kind of doing impromptu, essentially dance party. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Because you guys do have deep cuts in music of your like, no one's heard this and this is a hit, and it just disappeared into the ether.
Yeah. So the idea is to play like, you know, stuff that most people probably haven't heard or.
Like, give me an example of something right now. Someone can go, I'm getting that. I want to hear it. I've never heard it before.
I'm Alive by Johnny Thunder.
Okay. I heard you say that on another podcast.
That's the one.
Or no, maybe you said that to me today. You might have said that to me today.
No, it's kind of like the definitive record hang, like the definition of the type of song we're looking for. And like that is a song that neither one of us heard till we were like 43 years old. And it's musician Kelly Finnegan, whose dad like played with Hendrix and shit. He's the one that turned us onto this song. We're like, how did we never hear this tune? This is one of the best rock songs ever
recorded. How did we not know this?
But you know, we were doing these record hangs. It's cool because it's, you know, it's like they're very fun. And it's been such a challenge to figure out, because it's something we don't make any money on intentionally. But it's like really hard to figure out, how do we get people in? Like, how do you ticket that? Do you have a guest list? Because then it's just like, you can get a lot of no-shows. You know, how do you do it at the door? So it ended up being like, it's like the best thing is for us is basically just first come, first serve.
That's great. It's like, you know, one of the things that used to kill me is you'd go and do these clubs like the Dayton Funny Bone, and black comics would do the club, and then they would go do a post party. Kevin Hart still does it, where they're like, yo, I'm doing a show, and then I'm gonna go to this club, I'll make 20 grand at this club. You come and party with us. And I was like, where's that 20 grand? How do I get that 20 grand?
Yeah.
Like, that seems like money that's waiting for me. And I could never figure it out. I could never get that, but this sounds like that. Like, and then there's guys like Chappelle who just goes to the club and throws a party anyway. Have you done his club yet?
No, we were invited to get up there, but we couldn't make it. You've met Chappelle?
Oh yeah.
He's an Ohio guy.
Yeah.
He's the nicest. Good dude.
I love that you guys.
I want to go see his spot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We want to go spin records up there.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
That should happen. He's doing shows in, I don't know what your schedule looks like in August, but he's doing a big camp thing in August.
I heard that. We're on tour the whole month, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
When's your tour off?
Our last show is in Atlanta, September 20th.
Oh, shit. I go to Atlanta in a couple weeks. Hey, would you ever consider scoring a TV show, or do you know how to score a TV show? And what would the cost be? And could it be around $15,000?
Yeah. Here's what it'd be. We'll charge you $15,000, and then yeah. I did a theme song to a show called BoJack Horseman.
Oh, I know BoJack Horseman.
And then we've had songs used. One of our songs was used for the theme for the HBO show Hung.
Really?
And we've had tons of songs in TV shows and movies and shit and commercials, but we've never been asked to score anything.
I don't understand what scoring is other than like, wah, wah.
Yeah, that's what we can do.
Yeah, that's what my sound guy, Christian, is a musician. And he was like, is this it? And I walk in the room, I go, well, I got fired. And he's like, wah, wah.
Yeah, Dan's actually an expert slide whistle player. Like the Gumby sound effect.
Yeah, we got a TV show we're shooting, and my producer, who I grew up with, was like, yo, see if you can get someone to score this for cheap. And I was like, sure. I was like, how does that work? And he was like, we got $15,000, you figure it out. And I was like, I'll just start asking people. I don't know, I guess you just need like a theme song, right?
Our second record deal, we got paid $12,000 for the album. So I think we can make something happen. $15,000.
And I'm gonna be, the whole time I'm gonna be like, guys, the Black Keys scored this. The show sounds so good. The acting, mediocre. I'm not gonna lie to you. The story, problematic. But God, the score is awesome.
Man, this is coming together.
I know. You're kind of shocked I can cook, right?
Well, you're just able to talk and cook. That's like something.
Yeah.
Not if I'm not interested in the person. I'm really fascinated by you two because you guys do have kind of a mom and pop story about like how you became friends, your next door neighbors, and you kind of did it all on your own. And you came from an era of music that was when I was still listening to music. I know that sounds crazy, but like I didn't stop, but I've been in this place where I've got these jam bands I like, and I like some country music. New hip hop isn't connecting with me, and I'm such an old hip hop guy. And I just haven't like put my toe in the water to get back into music. Does that make sense?
I mean, it's hard to know where to go to find new music.
Do you have times where music is just, you're just like, ugh?
That's sort of how you know you're done with mixing a record sometimes, is when you can't stand to hear it anymore.
Oh, for real?
You know what I'm saying?
So wait, even like your songs that are the second I hear, I want to drive faster and you go,
No, I don't listen to our records, so it's usually a nice surprise when I hear it in the wild.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be kind of a psychopath to listen to your own records on the reg.
Oh,
But
Do you watch your own specials?
I can't watch it. Once I film it,
Oh, yeah.
I can't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Same.
I'm like done.
Makes me a little queasy.
Yeah, my wife can watch them. I'm not, but I don't like I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like what I look like. I go, my beard's too gray, my double chin's too big. I'm losing my hair. Why didn't I just get hair transplants? Like everything about me makes me sick to my stomach. And by the way, everyone watching goes, we think the same things, Bert. That's so crazy. All right, so we're gonna put some shrimp and some.
Where are these shrimp from?
I caught them in, no, I don't know, Louisiana. If you could go back to an era and play music in that era, like where would you go? Like if I could go back to comedy, I would go, right now is the perfect time in comedy. There's no better time in comedy than right now. I wouldn't go back anywhere. I won the goddamn lottery with comedy in that I got into the perfect time to get into comedy. Literally the perfect time. If you could go back to any era in music, would it be 80s? Would it be 90s? Do you guys love where you were in comedy and in music?
I mean, this is not the ideal time to be, at least financially, making music. And also, I think But yeah, I think a lot of the music that we listen to is made between the mid to late 60s and mid 70s, that like 1965 to 1970.
Yeah, we love the sound of those records, but I wouldn't want to live back then.
Like the what was it, the Laurel Canyon sound or whatever? Is that when that time is?
Laurel Canyon sound?
Isn't that what that was? Here, you want to take a video of this?
Wow, look at that, man.
What's this? Oh, shit, I forgot. Oh, my God, this is going to be so much better. I got a surprise.
What is this?
God. I feel like I bought caviar to put on top.
Oh, God.
Now would be a bad time to find out you guys are allergic to caviar.
Holy shit.
I bought so much caviar recently, and I never eat it. I always buy it for this, and then I use it once, and then I go, I think it's bad. Never mind.
Plating, the excellent plating. Look at this guy.
So the way you plate caviar perfectly is with 2 spoons. And I only say this because I've seen this.
You saw it on YouTube?
Yeah, you gotta go. I guess that isn't quite as fancy as what the guy did, but do you guys like caviar?
Yeah.
Oh, then double it up. Why not have a ton of caviar?
In Tennessee, they serve paddlefish roe.
What's paddlefish?
It's a really up looking fish. Looks like a duck-billed platypus. Swims in the river.
How come we've never eaten platypus?
Well, dude, I'm kind of addicted to Wikipedia, and I'll get down some rabbit holes, and I was like learning that like there's a gland in the beaver's asshole that's used to like make raspberry flavor. Like,
You serious?
yeah. And I'm like, how the did they figure that out?
He's like, guys, okay, I got a wild story and then something you're gonna like. So I'm eating this beaver's asshole, and I know you're like, Bill, again, I did it. But this time it tastes like raspberry, I swear to God. You know that one guy's like, you know when he showed it to his other buddy and he's holding the tail up? He's like, just eat its asshole. Trust me, it tastes like raspberry. He's like, I'm not falling for this again, Bill. Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. I mean, if there's a name for this gland, it's beaver. They use it for flavoring, but you know, it's also like it's like you think about something like cheese. It's like thousands of years ago, someone killed an animal and then milked another animal into the dead animal's stomach.
Dude, I said it the other day with eating the first animal. Can you imagine? They were like, when you ate the first animal, it was 2 guys going, that was a close call. Should we eat it? That almost killed us.
Amazing, man.
I hope you guys like it. I hope it's as good as I want it to be. And let me know if you need more sauce.
Amazing. Wow.
It would suck if you guys food poisoning right before the show.
We have a good story about that, actually.
We do?
Yeah,
That's pretty good. And by the way,
really good.
the caviar is really good. That's good.
This is legitimately great.
We played this festival in Alabama.
This is the perfect pre-show meal.
Oh my God.
We played this festival in Alabama, like 2014. It's right on the beach. And
At Floribama?
it's called, I forget what the festival's called. It's an orange beach or something.
Yeah, in Floribama.
Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
And yeah, they had the catering all set up backstage for us, like whoever's headlining each night. So they had this table with like 40 seats, and they brought out all this steak and stuff, and then they brought out all these stone crab claws.
Oh, yeah.
And no one touched them except for our sound guy. And anyway, we played a show, and I'm backstage right after we finish, and he comes running backstage, right into the bathroom, and I was like, What's up with him? I'm like, yeah, he's been sick for like the last hour and a half. I'm like, what? And apparently, like, he said, like, the minute we played our first note, he just like got sick to his stomach, and then spent the whole show mixing us while puking with his pants down into shitting and puking in a bucket, surrounded by 40,000 people. I mean, it like sounds like the biggest nightmare.
Oh my God.
That's dedication.
That's our boy.
That's our boy.
Have you had these chicken skins yet? This is, by the way,
great,
this is
man.
like, I gotta be honest with you, I'd skin chickens alive for these.
It's really good.
Right? Those are amazing.
So good.
Wow.
You did it.
This might be the best meal I've ever made. I'm not lying. So, Do you guys have an intention when you go in to make an album, like this new album? Do you guys have like a, do you guys like text each other like, just like a, like because Tom and I, when we do our podcast, Two Bears, I'll text him something like Fat Chicks Falling. And I'll be like, dude, I can't get enough of this. And it's always fat chicks overestimating their grip strength on a rope swing.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always like, I got this.
Instantly.
Like, in Tivas. And they're always in like a bikini. And they're just, ugh. And then, or like something like that. Like one time I texted Tom, I would probably hit Leanne before I cheat on her. And he couldn't stop laughing. He goes, we'll talk about that on the podcast. But do you do that when you go into an album? Like go in with an intention and go like,
we're always sending each other music we're listening to, but there's never. The one time we went into the studio with an intention like that was when we made El Camino.
really?
We put out our album Brothers, which is our first hit album. It was our 6th record. And so for the first time we're getting played on the radio, the whole tour's selling out, and it's basically like, it's pretty much, we're told by our management and agent, like the next tour you do is gonna be like an arena tour. Because we were selling like, 2 nights at the Palladium here, which is 8,000 tickets. Like you're gonna go do the.
I got you. Keep going.
Yeah, so we went in the studio with our friend Brian, who produced the record with us, and he was like, you guys are going into an arena, you need some arena size songs.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And he's like, he's like, a lot of your music's kind of like more mid tempo. You might, so he was like, you should do some louder, faster songs. So it was like this whole process for us, because I was like, really, I don't listen to much fast music. I don't think Dan does either. So it was like, it was like a whole kind of learning curve. But that's the only time. Typically when we're making a record, I think it's just like, we just, just kind of whatever we're into at the moment,
Sometimes, and I really prefer to go in not knowing anything and starting cold, clean slate every day in the studio. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the most satisfying, to just turn nothing into something and just see what happens that day.
What's your favorite part of the writing process? Meaning, and I'll explain it from my perspective. So like, I'll have a joke that will kind of work, and it's there. It's like, it's working. But then I figure out the thing I can put at the end, like that I go, oh, shut the up. And that moment, and usually I'll figure it out on stage and I won't have told it, but the next time I go on stage, knowing that I have that, that's my favorite part of doing stand-up.
That's got to be an amazing feeling.
It's like the hook. It's the hook. I mean, making music is just like it's like a puzzle. So I think that's the attraction to it. Is like there'll be an idea, maybe it's a chord progression or sound or a beat or something, and we'll establish that, and then from there it's just a puzzle. Like, how do we make this into a song? How do we make this a thing?
Yeah, like the new single that just came out, No Rain, No Flowers. That started with just the title and nothing. And we wrote with this guy named Rick Knowles, who's like a hit songwriter from LA. Been a songwriter for decades. And we were in the studio with him and he said, you got any titles? And I said that one. He liked it. And he was like, without any music, without any drums, no piano, nothing, how would that sing? You know what I mean? Just like sing into space. And that's how we started the song. So it was like, that was the first for us in 20 years, trying it like that.
Yeah. So then once we got that, it's like, trying to figure out what do you put around this? You know what I mean? And then that's when we start getting into our references of like, whatever. And it was like, okay, well, this could be a 4 on the floor song, which is, we don't really have many.
What's 4 on the floor?
It's like disco beat, basically.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Or early rock and roll.
Yeah.
But then it was like, so then we started there, and it was like, well, who's used a 4 on the floor in a cool way? And I was like, well, Giorgio Moroder uses it all the time, a disco producer, like a synthesizer guy. And so that was like the reference point. I'm just like, let's try to start there. And then it's like, well, what else kind of has 4 on the floor? It's like, well, New Order, and Joy Division. So then it was like, well, what if
that Joy Division's 4 on the floor?
a lot of the shit. So then it was like, okay, let's try to like reference some like a guitar part like they would do, or The Cure or something. And that didn't. So it's like that's what we're tapping into.
But it's putting it all together and then not trying to make it be too fancy.
Yeah, make
it
it
simple.
It's gotta be
and speak in a way that's kind of rings true to us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like sloppy. A little sloppy.
Yeah.
A little sloppy?
A little up, a little sloppy, not so perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, those are like important quality. We love that in music, and we always want to try to have some of that in the writing, you know?
It's crazy, your music. I hope this sounds is the compliment I want it to be, but your music, when you listen to it, sounds unrehearsed.
That's what it is.
Well, we don't rehearse, and those songs, like, there's never been a time where we sat around and like practiced a song. It's always we're in the studio. But that's how the whole band was kind of started, was because we were interested in recording. So it's always been like our rehearsals making a song. So like there's a lot of songs of ours where it's literally the first or second take. And I don't think there's really any song that's more than 4 takes.
Really?
And that would be very few songs that we played that many times.
There's jokes I write where I go, that's not for Bert. Like the dumbest jokes. I write jokes where I go, it's a joke. It definitely is a joke, but it's not me. Do you guys ever write a song where you're like, that's not us?
Well,
it's crazy to think that an artist would create something.
We were talking about how you change styles and stuff like that. The first time we actually had a radio hit, neither of us liked it. And we hated it. We're like, that's not us. It sounds weird.
Really?
And Danger Mouse was like, and our buddy Leon Michaels, who we really respect, was like, you guys would be stupid if you didn't put that out. And it became our first radio hit. And now when we play it, tighten up. And now when we play it, it just feels natural.
Well, it wasn't
but
that
at
we
the
did.
time, we were like, you know what I mean? So
it wasn't that we didn't like the song. It was that sonically, which is where our head is, like obsessed with the sonics, the way something sounds. We had just made a record in Muscle Shoals Sound Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Just Made Brothers, yeah.
And at this studio, which was like where the Stones and a bunch of classic 70s stuff was cut, it was so simplistic. And actually at the time, the studio was just up. It was like it was like an abandoned space. Like no one had been in there for decades. And the whole sound of the record is very minimal. That most of Brothers, we recorded it, most of it's mono. The drums have like 2 mics on it. So it has this old school thing. And so when we made that record and when we finished it, I was like, it would be cool if we had a song that could get played on the radio. And I was like, never once in our 8 years of making records have we ever gone into the studio with the intention of making a catchy song. It has never come to our mind that maybe we should try to write something catchy. So I called Danger Mouse. I was like, we want to try to write a single, like a catchy song. He's like, that would be fun. Let's do this. So we booked 2 days in New York and we went in there. After we were promoting this hip hop collaboration record we had called Black Rock, and we were taping like Fallon and whatever else, Letterman, and those finished taping at like 6. And each night we went to Brooklyn to the studio and we worked on this song. And like, it just, there was synthesizer on it. There's like, kind of a drum loop, and then there's an edit. It's just so much different than what we just had made.
This was a simple, organic, pure thing. And now we've made this really stylized computer thing,
And so our initial take on it was like, I don't know about it. But we sent it off to our guy that mixes our records at the time, Chad Blake, and he lives in Wales. And by this time, before we even got the mix back, we were kind of just like, I don't know, because we're like, this is... So we kind of forgot about it. But it wasn't going to be on the record. And then I played our record for our friend Leon Michaels, who's a producer. And I was like, this is the record. He's like, do you have anything else? That's the whole thing. I was like, we got one other song. And I played him Tighten Up. And he's like, what are you, stupid? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, that's the single. And I have barely paid attention to the song since we finished it. And so I was like, you really think so? And I listened to it again with him. He's like, yeah, dude. And I was like, well, we should put it on our record, I guess. I texted Dan, I was like, Leon thinks we should put it on. He's like, what? At this point, just over it. Just like, whatever. It's not going to hurt. And then the song came out, and essentially, we were told, like, initially, like, it's not going to get played on the radio. Like, the radio stations don't like it, and which is no sweat to us, because we never had a song on the radio anyway.
Yeah.
But we were touring, all the shows are kind of doing well. We go to Europe, and we come back, and our manager calls us after a month in Europe. He's like, that, tighten up. He's like, it's getting played on K-Rock. He's like, it's number 8 on the alternative chart, which we've never had anything ever even on the top 40 of that. He's like, it's going to be a number 1. You're going to have a hit, I think. And then literally like every week it was just like climbing the charts. And before you know it, like we're getting calls that we never got before, which is like, we got booked on SNL. We got all these opportunities. Then, you know.
From this one song.
One song.
And then like a song that no one had even paid attention to on the record, like really at the, you know, was on at the label or whatever, was like Howlin' For You. And that song came out as like a second single. It didn't go as high, but like it's still like that song's our second most popular song we've ever put out. The song that was never even like a hit. And I know it would have never even got played on the radio if it weren't for the Tighten Up song getting played on the radio.
Was it like, I have so many questions, 'cause I know what you're saying. It's like, sometimes the thing that you're like, ugh, I'm doing this. I can do this, but, and then someone goes, dude, that's your best thing. And you're like, that's not what I do. But yeah, I mean, if you like it, I'll do it. And then you go, oh. But what's that like to get those phone calls that you've never gotten before, where they're like, yo, I think this is going to be number 1. Does your ego get involved at all? Or are you, if you're never on the radar and you don't care about the radar and you're not making songs for the radar, and then all of a sudden you land on the radar and you destroy the radar, what's that feel like?
Well, I don't think we weren't trying to be on the radar.
Yeah.
I think it was like we just weren't really, we just thought like, because everything with us has happened really authentically, organically, from our meeting to falling into how to make records and to tour, and we had established this level of success. So we thought, before our record Brothers came out, I thought we had really, we made it. You know what I mean? Like, playing arenas and stuff had never really come across my radar. Like, none of the bands I liked in the 90s were doing arenas. You know
what were the bands you liked in the 90s?
Well, I mean, I love Nirvana, but they Kurt Cobain died before they kind of got to that level. So when they were playing, they're doing like mini arenas, but, I liked, like Captain Beefheart and Pavement and Modest Mouse and Dinosaur Jr., these bands that were playing like Beavers.
Modest Mouse is the best band I've ever seen live.
They were so good.
And it bums me out. I don't know what's going on with them. I know they had a period of, out of all the bands, and I went through a really thick music period right after I had kids.
Yeah.
So I think it's when I discovered you guys. Their live show, I saw them at the Greek as well. Yeah. Or maybe I saw them at Hollywood Bowl open for someone, was one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my entire life. And I say this as a pedestrian of, it sounded exactly like the album.
Yeah.
Like there was no around, and it was just, oh.
Well, yeah, I mean, Isaac's incredible, and Jeremiah, the drummer who just passed away, was one of my favorite drummers.
That was one of the bands that Pat introduced me to early on when we first started touring. Like, I'd never heard of Modest Mouse until I got into the tour band with Pat. He played that for me. It was really cool. I remember driving through somewhere out west and hearing Modest Mouse first couple EPs, and just like, it was perfect, perfect music. Yeah, and at the time those bands were playing like 500-600 seats, and to me that was like, you've made it at that level. So I think like, getting those calls when things are kind of happening, and for me it was exciting, but it was also kind of like, well, I never thought this was gonna actually happen. It's cool, but then it's kind of like, a little bit, you start feeling a little pressure that you never felt before, because it's kind of cool to fly in that sweet spot underneath shit. Yeah, it's a different call when you're like, hey, you're gonna play Coachella like 2 slots before Paul McCartney. It's like, okay, well, Paul McCartney's got to do that job, and this is great. But then when you get the call where it's like you're gonna headline Coachella, it's like it's a little bit scarier.
It's like having the big dick at camp, and everyone's like, dude, you got the biggest dick at camp, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then you're like, hey, you're going to basketball camp next week. You're like, it's a different camp. And everyone's like, take your pants off. He's got a big dick. You're like, no. I had a big dick at JCC camp. Not fucking. But it's the stress of selling arenas and becoming the guy that is. It's not. It makes it a little not fun. I mean, from my perspective, it was. I'll tell you when it was the funnest. When you just got calls and like, whole tour sold out, man. When I had shows, and you're like, yeah. And then they're like, whole tour sold out, man. When I had shows, you're like, yeah. And they're like, want to do arenas? You're like, yeah. And they're like, arenas are sold out. You want to do these really big arenas? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, United Center needs help. And you're like, huh? United Center could use a little love, and so could Emily. And also, we're doing San Francisco's a little light as well. And you're like, well, can we just go back to those 10,000 hockey ones? Yeah. And they're like, that's not what we do anymore, man. We do arenas. You got 5 buses. You got 3 tour buses. And you're like, oh, can I get another cocktail, please? What kind of weed are you rolling around with?
We got
yours.
What do you?
I mean, like, is that like? It looks very private. Like, it looks like you're. I'm not asking for some. I'm saying like it looks like like a nice little. You look like a grown.
These are these things called king palms, and you order them. They come in packs. They've got a little cork filter, palm leaf, and then you fill them with whatever you want.
That's PCP laced.
I hipped Marcus King to him. Marcus
King.
He's got them. They're his thing now too.
Marcus King's a real talent. He's
he's the
great
man.
Guy.
Yeah.
Can you quantify? I don't know. I mean, I think I can do it with stand-up. Like the first time I hung out with Shane Gillis, I was like, oh, he's really like just you can't change this on stage or off stage. Yeah. This is just gonna be great.
Yeah.
Like this is like fun. This is always gonna be fun. It's never not gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But like when you see someone like Marcus King, I think for the most part, I know Marcus very well, and I know he's great, but I can't see what you guys see. Is that right? And I'd say with Shane, you can't see the things I see. The things I see are like little writing stuff he does where you go, ooh, God, I didn't think that. I didn't see that. Like when you see like Marcus King or I mean, I'm sure Nashville's littered with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's hard to be a guitar player in Nashville because there's at all times 50 other people who are way better than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But Marcus, he's something different, you know what I mean? Because he just has that incredible voice and incredible talent. I mean, it's like generational, you know what I mean? He plays his grandfather's guitar. I mean, there's just some special magic there.
Yeah.
He was born for that.
God, I want to meet the rest of your neighborhood. There's got to be some real. Maybe it's something in the air.
Come to Nashville, man.
We're looking at houses in Nashville. Where did Leanne go? My wife just bailed. What time's your heart out? I want to make sure you guys got to get out here on time. Okay. Are you guys cool to hang for just? I just want to talk more, a little more music, a little more.
Sure.
Life.
Let me go take a piss real quick.
Yeah,
Can
go
I
take
do
a
that?
piss. Yeah. Why do you think you guys like comedy so much? Because you guys are like legit comedy fans.
Oh, I mean, to us, yeah, comedians are like who we nerd out over. I mean, I get like, meeting you today, meeting Shane Gillis, first time I get, like nervous. But the first time I met David Cross and Bob Odenkirk is like, our dads used to play us, our fathers, I think, pretty into the same kind of stuff. Like,
Did your dads know each other?
Yeah.
Like,
but not just because we moved into the neighborhood.
Yeah, but not like had beers and sat in the front yard together.
No, Well, they hang out. I mean, talk about us.
What did your dads do?
My dad was a newspaper reporter, and Dan's dad was a antique dealer. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But my dad used to like, when I was a kid, he'd take us to the library and he'd get like, check out like Monty Python and Strange Brew and like showing us shit that was way inappropriate when I was like 6. And then he let us stay up and watch Saturday Night Live, in the 80s. And so I just always obsessed with.
It's kind of interesting because in comedy there is that like, it's almost like a porn feeling. Like I'm showing you something you shouldn't watch.
Yeah.
And then in music, it's like something like I'm turning you on to something cool.
Yeah.
It's almost, I always think that sharing, the thing I hate about bullying is when they bully you for something you like say you're into anime,
Yeah.
And then the bullies find out you're anime, and then they don't get anime.
Yeah.
So then they bully you about it.
Yeah.
It's like that's the worst crime you can commit. Because you're taking something someone loves and making them be ashamed about it.
Yeah.
It really bothers me.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I've never bullied anybody, I don't think, so.
I'm sure I have. I have to have bullied somebody in my life. I'm not as sensitive. I was a meathead growing up, and I'm sure I have.
I've definitely made fun of the music people listen to, that's for sure, but.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, take a look at my playlist. Where's my phone? Is my phone right over there? Don't look. Hang on. all I'm gonna do is go. This is what I'd like you to do.
Yeah.
I want you to scroll my artists.
Okay.
To picture me naked in the sauna. I want you to scroll my artists and just make a judgment.
Okay.
Okay?
So far, so good.
What was that?
Really good.
Yeah?
I mean, I can already tell you.
Highlight stuff that you like and that you're like, ooh.
I mean, the only thing I see here is questionable is Creed. But other than that, no, it's really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. But yeah, just that, I would kind of delete the Creed. This is great.
Yeah? We're looking at my playlist and what my artists that I have downloaded and making judgments on my
you
music.
got Leaf Hound? Come on, baby.
You know, Growers of Mushroom. You know,
One of my favorite records of all
Freelance
time.
Fiend.
Dude.
Freelance Fiend.
Epic record. This is some northeastern Ohio shit, man. Yes.
It reminds me of Power of Zeus? Do you have that?
No.
Because you would love that.
Maybe I do. I don't know.
You don't.
I don't.
Gotta get that.
You're missing another great stoner rock. This is great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What was the one you said you got to get?
Power of Zeus.
No. Oh, I'm getting that right now.
Power of Zeus.
And what was the one you said earlier you were like...
What's that song called? It Couldn't Be Me?
Could it be me?
Oh. $1970?
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
I couldn't to this.
The song you want to hear is called It Couldn't Be Me.
It Couldn't Be Me.
So wait, what's the song you said when you came in here? You're like, what was right when you were like, Love Bone, how the mother bun.
I referenced the song that you should.
Scroll backwards. When you see these bands like right now, Limp Bizkit's having a huge resurgence.
Yeah, we're into watching that. That's cool.
Yeah.
We're happy for them.
Yeah, I'm always happy for everyone's success, but there is music that like always bothered me.
Well, I think Fred Durst is funny, and it's cool to see that.
I got a good Fred Durst story. I'm walking at Gelson's on Riverside in Laurel Canyon. It's 10 in the morning. I'm getting cream for coffee or some bullshit. Nothing big. I'm not grocery shopping. I'm just getting a couple things. And I see Fred Durst in a bucket hat, gray beard, walk down the aisle, walk past me, and I go, that's Fred Durst. Fred Durst. Now, I'm older than you. Yeah. So I got, $2 Bill, Y'all? Like, that was my album. Yeah. And that was right when they did the Prince Prince cover. Oh. It was pretty hot on MTV. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to say something to Fred Durst. And I'm like that with celebrities. Like, if I see you in public, I'm gonna want to say something to you. I did it with Chris Robinson. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Why that?
I was with a guy named Chris, and I know a guy named Chris knows Chris. So I walked up to Chris Robinson, and I was like, hey, what's up? Hoping he might recognize me, and he didn't. He was like, hi. I said, I know Chris. And he goes, who? I said, Chris Robinson. And he goes, I'm Chris Robinson. I went, no, Chris. He goes, who? I go, Chris. And he goes, Chris who? And I said, Cole. And he goes, huh? And that's the Chris I'm with. I'm like, Chris. And he goes, what? And I go, Chris Robinson. And he goes, he's like, what the f*** happening? I go, Chris comedian, comedian Chris. And he goes, Chris Porter? I said, yeah, I know Chris Porter. And he went, cool. And I went, awesome. I just walked away. So bad. So I see Fred Durst, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just be like, yo, what's up, man? You know, whatever. And I start walking up to say hi to him, and he just goes, nope.
See, you can tell he's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is funny, and I think he has a sense of humor about all of it.
That was the joke. Man. I love that.
Yeah. Who would you not be able to, who would you have to be like, I gotta say hi to him? Paul McCartney.
We've met Paul McCartney.
Yeah?
I think it's like, I don't know. You know, like I said, it's like meeting the comedians is always usually the thing where we get most excited. Like, well, you know, we got to meet Bill Murray last year, which was like, because I heard he could be a little bit like grouchy or something.
Yeah.
But he was very cool.
Yeah.
But we kind of had an angle on it. We were with a couple attractive women, so we sent them down to introduce themselves first, and then they lured them to our bus, and then it was fine.
Some comedians can suck. Yeah. Like, some comedians suck to meet. Rogan has always been good. He's always generous. Like, he's always generous. Shane's just brand new famous, so he's always nice.
Well, we met, God, what's his name? We were playing Coachella, or no, Bonnaroo in like 2006, and all the comedy tent people were hanging out. It was like David Cross and...
David Cross is a flip of a coin. David Cross he's a really regular guy.
Yeah.
So like he can be like, yeah, man, I'm talking to someone.
Yeah.
Or he can be like super generous.
Well, every time we've been around David, he's been cool.
He's also,
So we knew David at this point already. David directed our like first music video that never got played under.
Yeah, the first time we ever got a budget for a music video, we gave it to a comedian.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But we turned it into our label, and then they never even sent it to MTV. So
wait, who did you meet with David? Is it Zach?
No, it was like there's all these comedians, and then Dave Attell was like holding court, and then whoever we were with was like, "Hey, like, do you want to see something?" I was like, "What's that?" He's like, look how like really like how dark it gets when you're hanging around Dave Attell. Like it can be." And we went over there, and he was just like, "This mother." I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's miserable."
We were with. In a big group, and Jelly Roll was coming out and doing shows with us, and David Tell was there. It was me, David Tell, Mark Norman. I think maybe Big J. Okerson, Dan Soder, maybe, I can't remember everyone, but it was a big tour, and Jelly Roll, and David Tell. Yeah. And Jelly Roll's brand new to comedy, kind of, and he goes, man, you know who I just listened to today that I think's awesome? Was Mitch Hedberg. And he goes, that's someone I'd like to see live. And David Tell goes, well, buddy, I got some bad news for you. He goes, what's that? He goes, he's dead. David Tell's, one of my favorite bars in Dayton, Ohio, was one of David Tell's favorite bars in Dayton, Ohio. David Tell doesn't drink ever. I'm telling you, when I have a real affection for Ohio, I really do.
Yeah.
It's called Sure Shots. They even made me my own leather jacket. Sure Shots. Was one of the best bars to get Coke at back in the day. But now you can just get really great hot dogs and cold beers. And they serve free hot dogs. And we're all going out to party one night. Everyone. I mean, we used to do this summer tour where it was like, I think I hit you guys up to do a show with us on this festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on tour.
And it's like 10 comics. I mean, it's just everyone. We get a huge 15-passenger van, and it tells like, I haven't been to Sure Shots in 10 years. Let's go. So we bring Attell to Sure Shots. Yeah. And man, the secrets that guy tells are like, he's my favorite comic. He's my favorite comic.
Yeah, he's so good.
Like if you're going to have a guy do comedy at my funeral, that's the guy. What song would you play at his funeral? And what song would you play at his funeral?
Damn.
I think I'd play Riding in My Chevy. Illinois.
That's one of the guys from Memphis. Yeah, I know that dude. What happened to that guy?
He's on our last record.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But he was one of the guys from friends with 3 6 Mafia. Yeah. That whole posse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's on Ohio Players. And also it's Juicy J on the song.
No way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what song would you play at his funeral? We're gonna wrap this up soon. I don't know how dead that mic is. What song would you play at his funeral? And then will you guys play at my funeral? And change the lyrics and say, come on the ceiling.
Oh man, it would have to be Captain Beefheart's song.
That's the guy you were telling me about, Captain Beefheart.
That's it. Yeah.
That's who you were talking about.
The record to start with is Safe as Milk.
Safe as Milk.
Can
I would
he-
just play that record.
Because it gets progressively weirder, which is great. But I think that's the thing about Captain Beefheart is like he's like a good entry point for if you like weird music. He's a good entry point to eventually.
This is Captain Beefheart?
Get into the blues. Yeah, that's the yeah.
That's Captain Beefheart, dude.
I'm gonna
booglerize you, baby.
I'm gonna booglerize you, baby. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, that's
1971.
Spotlight Kid.
Click clack.
Yeah.
I had a joke about. We'll end on this, and this is a great thing to send you off. And I hope you laugh at this, but this is a real dream I had. And this goes out to Captain Beefheart. I had a dream that I was on stage, curtains there. I'm with a bunch of guys, and I'm on stage, and I'm in dance position, right, like this. And I look over, and I look at everyone on stage with me, and they're all in Ku Klux Klan outfits.
Whoa.
And I'm like, mother. And I look down, and I'm in the robe also. I'm like, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this. And all of a sudden, the curtain pulls back, and it's an all-black audience. And I'm like, this is not going to go well. And the guy on the voice on the PA goes, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Click Clack Clan. And we start tap dancing perfectly. And we turn the audience, and they start cheering, and we're in Klan outfits. And I woke up, and I was like, I got to tell someone that. Shout out to Captain Beefheart, ladies and gentlemen, the Black Keys. You guys are awesome. I love you guys to death. I'm so lucky to have met you. And Thursday night, if I am even semi-standing sober, I'm coming out to see you guys.
Please.
I would love to see that.
You love it.
And enjoy San Diego tonight, and thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having
man.
us.
Thank
Thanks
you guys
for
very
cooking for
much.
us.
Buddy.
Great episode. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Something's burning.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.